live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and blasttheradio.com. This is The Lowell Green Show. The number to call and be heard around the world is 613-413-2217. Or email Lowell at blasttheradio.com. And now, here is Lowell Green.
Oh, man. John, what a lemon we're stuck with. You hear the latest problems with light rail?
Oh, yes.
Poor woman last night got stuck in the elevator between floors on the Parliament station. I think that's the Queen Street station.
That is correct, sir.
I don't know if she's panicking, but the stories say that she was in great distress.
Right.
This really strikes at me because I understand it perfectly. I'm very claustrophobic. And a good many other people, as a matter of fact. I'm not alone in that. And obviously this woman was claustrophobic too. At least I would suspect so. I can remember this, so I can just relate exactly how she's feeling. Several years ago, I'm in a tiny elevator. It's in the Bahamas, actually. And sure enough, we get stuck between floors. It's a tiny little elevator. I'm in it with one person who happens to be my uncle. I panicked. I'm ashamed to say it, but I just it just when you've got claustrophobia, there's nothing you try like everything to stop panicking, but you can't. Your heart starts to pound. You can't catch your breath. It's terrible. So this poor woman, 9:00 last night, all alone in the elevator. The elevator gets stuck, leading from the train, the light rail. Firemen have got to rappel down the shaft. So they're risking their lives in order to rescue this poor woman. So, I mean, it just seems to me that like nothing to do with light rail in our city works properly. I don't know if it's that the equipment itself is garbage, whether it was just installed improperly, or whether nobody in this city or any place seems to know how to run anything properly. I suspect it's a combination of all three. I honestly, John, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm out here in the West End. Right from the day one, I questioned the validity of this. We had a perfectly good transit way. The bus system worked very well, except for the odd snowy day, because our mayor refused to put on snow tires, but that's another story, okay? But essentially, we had a very good bus system, which, yes, should have been improved and gone through the town. But anyway, I don't even want to get into that. But then we were told, then I said, this doesn't make sense. We're coming in from the West End. We used to be able to take I think it was a 95, whatever it was, right downtown, wherever you wanted to go. No stops.
Yep.
Zip, 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 zip. Now, with light rail, supposed to be a big improvement. You got to go to Tunney's Pasture, get off the bus, get on the damn train, if it was ever running, and then go on. This is supposed to be progress, retro progress to me. But we were told, oh no, you know what? We wait till the Western extension occurs and the Eastern extension. Then these problems will be over. Now we're told that I don't know what's happening in the East End. I don't know if anybody does, but the West End extension has been delayed, not a day, not 2 days, not a week, not a month, but a year. How the hell? I mean, how the hell can you have a project delayed a year? So here we go. I mean, the trains don't seem to run half the time. Doesn't matter what happens. The wheels are square. The rails aren't rails. I don't know. The lightning strikes it. Now the elevators are getting stuck. Folk, what should we do? I'm almost tempted to say, you know what? I think we should just close her down. Every time something like this happens, fewer and fewer commuters will have any confidence in it whatsoever. And I have no confidence. They say, well, in a year's time or 5 years' time or 20 years' time, we'll have an extension out to Moody Drive, which that in itself makes no sense. Why it wouldn't come at least to Canadian Tire, but God only knows. Or Canada, God only knows. But
well,
anyway.
just our luck. We'll build it to Canadian Tire Center just as they move the Canadian Tire Center to LeBreton freaking Flats.
I'm almost tempted to say, you know what? Why don't we just, there's a passage in the Bible about, casting money, good money after bad money, or spoiled wine or something.
Right.
Some of you may have the chapter. And I'm just wondering if we're just not throwing money at a lost cause here. Just, I don't know. I really honestly don't. If anybody has any ideas, I'd sure as heck like to hear them. On another topic, if you've got any thoughts on that, are you giving up on this? Are you convinced that we are stuck with an unholy lemon? That there's no way that we're going to make lemonade out of this? And who do you blame? I mean, do you think it's the equipment itself? Is it the way it was installed? Is it that nobody knows how to fix anything here? What do you think it is? I mean, we're pouring billions of dollars. So, consequence, nothing else gets done in this city, essentially. See the potholes? But on another topic, I have no question in my mind as to how most of you feel about Justin Trudeau. You've made it very plain on this program for almost a year now. The signs saying F Trudeau everywhere indicate pretty clearly that there are a lot of people out there not exactly enamored of this guy. But there's another guy out there that's screwing up the works, okay? And we've sort of let him off the hook. His name is Jagmeet Singh. He's the guy that's keeping Justin Trudeau in power. You know, the NDP was originally founded, it used to be called the CCF. It was originally founded, it was an out-and-out socialist party for the working guy. Union members joined it, etc., because it was for the working person. How anybody could possibly say that the NDP or Jagmeet Singh is for the working person today when they favor higher taxes, etc., is beyond me. So, what is a lot of women find Jagmeet very attractive. They love the $1,000 suits and the $1,000 or $4,000 watches. I don't know. Beats the hell out of me. But what is your candid opinion of Jagmeet Singh? And while you're at it, you might give me your candid opinion of the unholy alliance between the NDP and the Liberals. NDP keeping the Liberals in power, no matter what they do. Essentially, what it means is that the Liberals can do anything they want, including break the law, which they're doing now, and get away with it because Jagmeet's going to vote for them. So I'm not exactly in love with Jagmeet Singh either. I'd like to know what your feeling is on this guy. As I say, we've given him a free pass, but maybe it's time that we held his feet to the fire. How much do you think his socks cost, John? Any idea? Talking about feet to the fire.
Listen, I think, you're always conservative, Lowell, but I think you're being especially conservative thinking he's wearing a $1,000 suit. He's wearing $1,000 underpants. Come on. That suit's worth a lot more than that, and so are his watches.
What do you think the suit is worth? I like the last time I haven't bought a suit since, well, for 40 years. The last
suit I bought, going back probably 4 years now, was probably 600 something.
Really?
And it was just an off the rack thing over at Moore's. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't bought a suit. I would say the last suit I bought, I was working in Montreal, CFCF, and that's 1960. So
that's the last suit you bought?
Yeah, I think it was $80, and it was a really good handmade suit.
Must be an exceptionally well-made suit if it's lasted this long.
We're online here, so I can be a little, let's say, open that more than. I'll never forget. I'm in getting measured, and men will understand this. I'm getting measured for the suit, and the guy is measuring my inseam, and he said, "Sir, on which side do you wear it?" And I'm like, what?
That's.
I'll never forget that. It absolutely stumped me, and then I had to think about it.
Well, yeah.
Oh man, those were the days.
I'll tell you, I had a job just out of college, part-time, measuring men for suits. That's what they had to be doing at a store in Maryville Mall called David Gary. It was so uncomfortable doing that measurement every time. It's mortifying.
Did you have to ask on which side he wore it?
I wish I had known that then. It would have made it a little more interesting. No, I didn't know that. Jeez.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Some there will be some people who understand what I'm talking about, others won't, and the complaints will pour in. But that's life, folks. That's life.
Listen, there was an episode of the show Friends where they deal with that, where Joey keeps going to, this Italian suit maker, and that's apparently what the guy does. And all of his friends are like, no, nobody does that. Classic scene in Friends. Yeah.
I have another question here. I am absolutely puzzled and a little bit shaken and saddened by the reaction to so many people to this group of, as far as I can see, totally innocent people who are renting St. Bridget's Church. I mean, first of all, St. Bridget's Church it was almost falling down. So apparently they're doing some repair, which to me could only be a good thing. But like apparently their sin is, they say they would just they're never there's no honking of horns. They're not creating any problems. They're not drunks. They're not shooting up drugs or anything else, which half of the byword market is. And they're just they say they want to start some sort of community center, and this apparently is panicking all of the market area, the lower town. Because apparently some of them knew or know some members of the truckers' convoy. But in a way, John, it almost makes you laugh. I mean, here we are in Lower Town, where any given day or night, where are you?
Just screening a phone call for you. Lowell, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, all I can see is the top of your head, and that's not a pretty
No,
sight.
It's not a pretty sight.
So, I mean, here is Lower Town, where on any given day or night, doesn't matter what hour of the day or night it is, people sleeping on the sidewalks, defecating on the sidewalks, urinating in people's lawns, needles strewn all over the place. That's fine and dandy. That's fine, no problem. Bad problemo, Ozzy. No problem, no problem. Needles here, needles there. One guy can't even rent his apartments down there because he says it's not safe. There's so many needles out in the front lawn every morning. No problem. But a group of people come in and say want to start a community center, and some of them know some members of the convoy, and we got to boot them out. It's a big problem. Police go down there. They don't see anything wrong. What's going on?
All right, so you're not buying into the fact that they haven't paid their rent as
no,
has been
have
rumored.
you not seen the story today?
They're not carrying the insurance.
No, they are. They in fact, there's this.
No, I know they say they are, but the landlord claims they're not.
No, but they showed the media this morning or last night that they won't. These are the checks that we gave them. Here it is. Here's the insurance, and we have insurance for $1 million. Here's the policy right here. The problem is the landlord, because I guess somebody spooked them, refuses to take the money. The money's in the bank. No. But it's not. Besides, John, I'm telling you. But they've got the money in the bank. They're trying to get the checks cashed. But why? Okay, the landlord, they're in a dispute with the landlord. But what's all the panic in the community? Community association is all upset. Community association is not upset about people sleeping all over the freaking sidewalks. You've seen it yourself. They're not upset about all of the needles all over the place or anything else. But this group of people, because they know some members of the convoy, I don't know. My question is, what have they done to alienate the community? Have they been out there raising hell? Are they out there being drunk? Are they out there grabbing people's daughters? No. They're just saying we want to form a little community association. I don't know. It just beats the hell out of me. If it was any place else, I might understand it. But in Lower Town, with people all over the sidewalks, defecating everywhere you go, needles strewn all over the place, and you're upset about some people moving into an abandoned church. Ay.
All right, listen, Ray claims I was checking what side. Hang on. Anyway, I was not. I was screening a call. Chris is on the line. Chris, thanks for hanging in there. Go ahead. You're on with Lowell Green, sir.
Hello, Chris.
I've been watching your show. I'm Chris from Adopt a Trucker. I was the founder of Adopt a Trucker for the convoy.
What? I can't hardly hear you, sir. Say, try and speak and slowly. What are you saying?
Okay.
So he's Chris from Adopt a Convoy, or Adopt a Trucker from the Convoy. Is that the name of the organization, Chris?
Yeah, I was one of the directors on the convoy.
Right.
Okay.
And I can verify that William was never part of the convoy. All he did was social media stuff, and he was like a reporter. And he's not part of the convoy. None of those people that are there are part of the convoy. I don't know why they're trying to loop those people in with the convoy.
Yeah, well, it's just I don't know. There's something's very strange going on there. As I say, if these people were a bunch of drunks or causing problems, but as far as I can see, I haven't heard of any problems. Somebody called the cops. The cops came down, checked them out, and walked away and said, we don't see a problem here. So I don't know. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I went there myself and checked it out because I wanted to see what was going on. And they have some great ideas. I mean, they want to help the community no matter who you are, what you are. They said any religion, any people, like they're there for the whole community. They're not trying to do just anyone. I don't understand. Like you said, like they're doing good for Ottawa.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see if they're going to do good, but I don't see them doing any bad so far, so I don't understand. To me, it's just pure prejudice. Thank you for the call, Chris. Thank you, sir. John, what else do we got?
That's kind of neat that somebody that that was that involved in the convoy would actually be tuned into the show and offering a comment. Listen, let's hear from the folks who are moving into St. Bridget's and let's hear their side of the story.
It could be that people misunderstand the church. As I said before, I've had experience at the church. Someone who's a close friend of mine called me down at a time when the church was still functioning as a church, and a lot of Portuguese, and they had a Portuguese priest. And they were trying to keep the church going, but the Archbishop wanted to close it because the church was in bad need of repair. This is years ago. So it's a church that is abandoned, essentially, deconsecrated, and is badly in need of repair. And apparently these people are starting to do some repair work on it. Go ahead, John.
I mean, there's even a rumor out there now that isn't that the church that Justin Trudeau was baptized in? And so this is all Trudeau's doing. This is why he's at. I mean, you see it all. Can we just get this one? I invite them to call in. Let's have a conversation.
Sure.
613-413-2217. 613-413-2217. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, etc., the number's on your screen. All right, let's go to a text. Lowell, I think the quality of workmanship for the trains as well as the entire infrastructure is substandard. Hell, I was just in a newly renovated restaurant in my area and was not impressed by the work in there as well. Wallpaper with blue tape holding the edge that is not sticking, as well as exposed glue hardly holding down the wooden shelf. I think they're talking about sloppy workmanship overall. Okay. And I see that from a lot of builders too. They complain about that. Over to YouTube, and our friend Boo Boo says the church has been victimized by the media simply because it makes good press for the media, and the media gets great viewing from the public, which supposedly agree. Give it a rest, media, says Boo Boo. Right.
There was to me, this is sort of typical. 99% of all of the people who are objecting have no idea where St. Bridget's is, have never seen St. Bridget's, have no idea what these people are doing. And many people have no idea what's really going on in Lower Town either. It's a little bit like Ayatollah Khomeini put the fatwa in against the author that's just been killed, Salman Rushdie.
Solomon
Rushdie.
Should have been there for you.
And it's just come out now that in fact he never read the what was the name?
Satanic Verses.
My mind is going here. Satanic Verses. He never read it, but he put the fatwa. In other words, put $1 million on his head, and he had never read the book. Ayatollah had never read the book. And to me, this is kind of similar. Most people have never read the book, but they're opposed to this group anyway.
And I think most people who have very strong opinions about the noise, etc., that came from that convoy are people who never took it upon themselves to go down and even see it. They're probably people in Canada, Stittsville, Orleans, but they knew it was happening downtown. They'd see it on TV and on social media, and they would talk about how disruptive it was. Well, and I wasn't there, so I can't really say if it was or it wasn't. Can you? No, you weren't there.
All we know is it closed Wellington Street, and that seemed to be a big problem. But now Wellington Street is still closed, and it's not a problem. When Trudeau closes the street, it's not a problem. When the truckers close the street, it's the end of the world. Go ahead, John.
Let's get a word in here for Shields.
Talking about the end of the world, Pakenham is not. Pakenham is not the end of the world. I had someone the other. No, honest to God, it's amazing the stuff that comes across my desk. Tweets here, there, and letters and messages on my phone. The whole business. Okay, it's unbelievable. Somebody just the other day said, "What are you talking about, Pakenham? This place is out in the sticks. This is Lanark. They're all they're all a bunch of interbred." And I mean, it was unbelievable.
No, Pakenham is like right there. It's right there.
But this is what you have to deal with. Pakenham is a great little town, and I want to tell you that one of the best groups of people in Pakenham are Shields. Great people there. Got a big warehouse. 90. They tell me, and I say this again: 90% of everything you would want in the way of appliances they have in stock. Big difference, because a lot of the big box stores, they've got this, they've got that. Yeah, maybe in a month's time. Not at Shields. They'll have it within the next 2 or 3 days, 90% of the time. Okay, and if they don't have it there, they'll have it there very shortly. The price is very reasonable, and I keep talking about the website. Very easy to use. I just went through hell this morning. I must tell you, John, I am trying to buy some insurance, travel insurance.
Oh,
For a
boy.
guy like me with my age, this is very expensive.
I bet.
I went to one this morning here. It was unbelievable how complicated it is. Just trying to put in your age. It's like I tried about 5 times. I finally had to phone them and said, "How the hell do I put my age in here?" Well, you have to do this and you got to do that and everything. But anyhow, what I'm trying to say is, with Shields' website, none of that. It's all there. If you want a new fridge, if you've got a particular brand and model, just go right to it and you'll see it. You'll see the price, you'll see the size, you'll see the color, and you'll see the finance plans that are available as well. Shields.ca. John.
It's a totally different subject, but it's funny how we are in Ottawa. Oh, Pakenham is so far. Oh, the CTC is so far. And now that they're talking about building the new arena downtown, people in Canada are saying, "I'm not traveling there to go see a game." I mean, geographically, we are bigger than the city of Toronto, but people complain about how far things are. I mean, it's
talking about that. I'm here. I'm still in the city of Ottawa. I pay city of Ottawa taxes,
Yep.
even though I got almost no services. But I'm going to tell you, and I know, John, this is right up your alley. You were complaining about slow internet service in the Maritimes. You have no idea how bad
I wish it
is
was
here.
slow. I prayed for slow. It was that bad.
You have no idea how slow my service is here. I'm like a 15-minute drive away from downtown Ottawa.
Yep.
Just down the road from the Cheshire Cat, world famous, restaurant and pub. And I have my service is so bad that it's disgraceful. And I mean, I'm paying all of the money for the best service, fastest, all the rest of it, but it's terrible. Some days, just to click on, you're waiting at about a 4 or 5 minute wait just to get online. Go ahead, John.
We got a million subjects out there right now. We're not getting, we're not getting any input on Jagmeet Singh. I'd like to hear people's opinions on that. So is the LRT a lemon that we're stuck with is question 1.
Yeah.
And what is your take on Jagmeet Singh? Weigh in on that. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, 613-413-2217. Ann says, we've torn up half the city and we have accomplished absolutely nothing. We should have light rail to Arnprior and Carleton Place by now, and maybe even Pakenham.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. We do actually have, it's not light rail, but it's heavy rail, which is the system that the GO train uses in Toronto. Coming from Arnprior, there's a railway goes all the way through South March and everything. Right? It's why they anyway. Go ahead, John. You know what? I've pounded on these things so long that I just get tired of it myself.
Listen, but you're absolutely right. I mean, why are we ripping up existing rail? Why didn't we just go with the infrastructure that is there and build onto it? I mean, the same damn thing. We had trains going right into the downtown core of the city, ripped them up in the 1950s, and now we're trying to figure out ways to get it all right back in again. Let me tell you,
nightmare. I fought like hell. I was only one of 2 people who fought like hell when they ripped the rails up. You realize that there was a railway track right through the center of Stittsville, right into downtown Ottawa.
Yeah, the old train station is still there in Stittsville.
The old train station is still there, right in the heart of Stittsville. Can you imagine if we had that rail now from Stittsville? I mean, how much the traffic that would take off the 401? I mean, I fought like hell, but oh no, so what is it now? It's a trail. But you know what, I've hardly ever see anybody on it. I don't think you can put a bike on it, so it's some sort of a trail which nobody ever uses. This was a direct rail all the way from Carleton Place
Yeah.
right up through the heart of Stittsville into Ottawa.
We were designing it right back then. And like, to me, when you first started on the LRT comment, my thinking is, if you're going to do any sort of train system, it needs to be built on a grid. Ottawa is not built on a grid. We have a very defined north end, of course, because we've got a river right there. But now we've got this train sort of zigzagging and juking and diving and weaving in and out of this and in and out of that and around this environmental thing that we can't touch and under this building. And it's just, it has no hope of being successful.
And the elevators apparently aren't that great either.
Listen, I don't do well in tight spaces either, but I think even the best of us in an elevator, the worst thoughts, everything we've ever seen in movies just comes through our head. So yeah, no, I hope she's doing all right. All right, good day.
I'm going to tell you something. If I were stuck like that all by myself at night, I'm not sure if I would survive. With my my heart condition, I'm just not sure.
Okay.
I remember fighting it. I realized, Lowell, you've got to calm down. Closed my eyes. I squatted down, but I just couldn't. I couldn't stop. The breathing and the heart began to pound. That's claustrophobia.
I've had panic attacks, and exactly as you describe, and you go out of your mind insane. And
poor woman.
Yeah,
and the fireman got to rappel down an empty shaft. I mean, that's a dangerous, undertaking as well. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No problem. Eric says, "Good day, guys. Can't close it down. We're in way too deep. Someone has to take the reins and see this through. It will work when it's done correctly." Ray says, "How long did it take to make the Transcontinental Railroad?"
Less time than it took to build the light rail.
All right, to the question of Jagmeet Singh, pardon me. Timothy says the NDP is the Liberals' lapdog. Joshua says, for the price, hopefully the socks that Jagmeet Singh wears are fire retardant. Okay. Typical leftist selective outrage. Turn a blind eye to the real problem, says Joshua. Mahadi says, why is Wellington Street still closed? This is ridiculous. Ray saying Ottawa is too liberal. And a text here at 613-413-2217. This person says, Lowell, you didn't let John finish. My point was their quality of construction workmanship these days is very low. Workers and managers rush the jobs with low quality assurance. The trains and infrastructure were thrown together, leaving us with faulty trains and premature breakdown infrastructure. They have built-in excuses like COVID and construction workers strike to boot. That's the person that texted in earlier. From Peterborough, Jagmeet is out of touch with what is going on in Canada. I don't know why he is propping up the Liberal government. The only thought is his pension. There you go.
I don't think he needs a pension, quite frankly, but it's what a guy. I mean, here is a man that could be a hero. I mean, he could stand on principle and say this is unacceptable. And hold Trudeau's feet to the fire, but instead of that, we know what he did. No principles whatsoever. Go ahead.
To Facebook, and Patricia says, so many times I would see the light outside the elevator at Lincoln Fields indicating an elevator problem. I'm very glad that I never had to take an elevator. Ooh, I had no idea that there were lights that even warned people about that. That trail is part of the Trans-Canada Trail System, says David. An agreement is in place that if a transit LRT corridor is still needed, it can be reverted back to rail, and that track also went to Bayshore.
Well, there's still a track available. If you're coming along the Western Queensway, you go right over it. You will see it. The Clover, what is it? What do they call it? The horse park there. It goes
Wesley Clover Parks.
Wesley Clover Park. It goes right by there, goes through and goes into right over Billings Bridge. The rail is still there.
So it's right next to where they're actually building this new LRT system?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Why it's never been utilized is beyond me. Beyond me. Go ahead.
I think that after 5 years, they're full pension anyway, not like the rest of us who have to work 30 or 40 years, says Pete, regarding the Jagmeet Singh pension comment. Let me see. Let's go to who have we not gotten to yet. Mike, regarding internet, says, my internet used to be so slow. I was with ExploreNet for years, but it's finally getting a bit better. I was lucky to get 10 megabits per second. Yeah, listen, rural people don't understand what rural Canadians are up against. And I see a lot of social media posts the last couple of nights. People think they were seeing some sort of shooting star. It was like this whole trail of light. That's Elon Musk's new satellite system that's giving us satellite internet. And as much as I hate it polluting my night sky, I'm hearing nothing but great things about this. So rural Canadians are latching onto this system in a big, big, big way. Regarding that train track, it goes through Bell's Corner, says Deborah. And Gary says, hey, guys. Hey, Gary, thanks for joining us just as we're signing off.
Thank you all, folks. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow.
The Lowell Green Show is seen and heard live around the world at 2 p.m. Eastern. Connect with us online at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Download the Lowell Green podcast. Available on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. This is a production of blasttheradio.com.